We welcome you so much to this episode. Helping us to understand this will be Alfred Imwangi. Now, good evening again. Tonight we turn our attention to a developing story that has stirred debate across Kenya's education and cultural sectors, captured in the Daily Nation under the headline Echoes of Silence. As this year's National Drama Festivals begin, a new directive has cast a long shadow over the stage, a sweeping restriction on political messaging in school performances. What was once a vibrant platform for storytelling and expression now finds itself at the center of a national conversation about censorship, creativity, and the voice of the youth. The directive did not emerge in isolation. It follows a scrutiny of recent performances that were perceived to carry strong political undertones, with some plays drawing attention for their broad engagement with governance and societal issues. In response, authorities appear to have tightened the rules, issuing clearer and more explicit guidelines on what is permissible. At the core of these changes is a firm prohibition against political content in any form, whether direct, implied, or symbolic. Under the new framework, students are not allowed to reference political leaders, comment on government policies, or weave narratives that could be interpreted as political critique. This applies not only to the scripts themselves, but also to the staging, performance, and adjudication process. Any perceived deviation could lead to disqualification, placing immense pressure on schools to stay within the prescribed boundaries. Officials have defended the move, emphasizing that drama festivals are educational platforms designed to nurture talent and instill values, not arenas for political discourse. They argue that students should focus on themes relevant to their development, moral lessons, social responsibility, and everyday experiences within the school environment. In their view, the restrictions are meant to preserve the integrity and purpose of the festivals. Yet, the directive has not gone unchallenged. Confusion has arisen over whether these rules are entirely new or simply a stricter enforcement of existing guidelines. Some authorities insist that limits on political content have always been in place, while critics argue that the current measures are more rigid and far-reaching than ever before. This lack of clarity has only fueled the ongoing debate. The phrase "echoes of silence." We're getting a short break. We're coming back shortly. Welcome again. This lack of clarity has only fueled the ongoing debate. The phrase "echoes of silence" resonates deeply within the context. It suggests more than just compliance with rules. It evokes the image of voices being subdued, of stories left untold, and of stage that no longer reflects the full spectrum of lived experiences. For many, the concern is not just about what is being removed, but about what is being lost. Drama has long served as a mirror of society, reflecting its struggles, triumphs, and contradictions through performance. Communities have historically examined themselves, challenged authority, and sparked dialogue. From village storytelling traditions to modern theater, drama has been a powerful medium for confronting uncomfortable truths and inspiring change. To limit its scope is in many ways to limit the conversation itself. Kenyan literature itself offers powerful examples of this tradition. Works such as Petals of Blood by Ngugi wa Thiong'o exposed a betrayal of independence, ideals, and corruption among the elite, while A Grain of Wheat interrogated the complexities of leadership and sacrifice during the struggle for freedom. Similarly, Devil on the Cross critiqued greed and exploitation in post-colonial Kenya, boldly challenging systems of power. Literature and drama, particularly within the educational context, play a critical role in shaping young minds. They encourage creativity, sharpen critical thinking, and provide a safe space for exploring complex ideas. For students, the stage is more than just a platform for performance. It is a space to question, to imagine, and to understand the world around them. Restricting content risks turning this dynamic space into a controlled environment where only certain narratives are allowed to flourish. This tradition of critics is not new. Works like The Trial of Dedan Kimathi by Ngugi wa Thiong'o and Michere Githai Mugo used theater itself to challenge colonial and post-colonial authority, demonstrating how performance can become a sign of resistance. Supporters of the ban, however, maintain that such measures are necessary. They argue that students are still in formative stages and should be shielded from complexities and potential biases of political discourse. Schools, they say, must remain neutral, in neutral grounds focused on education rather than political engagement. In their perspective, the directive is not about suppression but about protection. Critics see it differently. They contended that politics is an integral part of everyday life, and that young people are not only with it but are already affected by it. By removing political themes from drama, they argue the directive denies students the opportunity to engage with real-world issues in a meaningful way. It may also discourage bold thinking and honest expression, replacing them with safer, less impactful narratives. Even contemporary works such as Wizard of the Crow continue this legacy, satirizing authoritarian rule and exposing excesses of leadership in ways that resonate far beyond the page. The immediate effects are already being felt. Students may begin to self-censor, avoiding topics that could be misinterpreted. Creativity could give way to caution, and originality might be sacrificed for compliance. Teachers and directors too find themselves navigating a more restrictive environment, balancing their desire to inspire with the need to adhere to guidelines. The result may be productions that are technically sound but lacking in-depth and relevance and reliance too. Over time, the festival itself could undergo a transformation. Once known for its diversity and vibrancy, it risks becoming predictable with recurring themes that avoid controversy. The richness of storytelling its ability to surprise, challenge, and provoke thought may diminish, leaving behind performances that are safe but uninspiring. Beyond the confines of the school stages, the broader implications are significant. When avenues for expression are narrowed, society as a whole may feel the impact. Public discourse could become less dynamic, and the role of art as a catalyst for change may be weakened. There is also the concern that such restrictions, if normalized, could extend beyond schools into other areas of creative expression, and this brings us to a fundamental question: where does regulation end and censorship begin? While authorities present the directive as a guideline, critics view it as a limitation of freedom of expression. The distinction is not always clear, and is within this ambiguity that much of the tension lies. Looking beyond Kenya, the global history of the theater underscores its significance as a tool for social commentary across cultures and eras. Drama has been used to question power, highlight injustice, and inspire reform. To restrict its thematic scope is to depart from a long-standing tradition of artistic engagement with society. And the art of the debate is the challenge of balance. How can institutions protect students while still allowing them the freedom to explore important issues? How can creativity be guided without being stifled? These are not easy questions, but they are essential ones. Moving forward, there may be a need for more nuanced approaches, clear but flexible guidelines, open dialogue between stakeholders, and an emphasis on responsible storytelling could help bridge the divide. Rather than silencing certain themes altogether, there may be value in teaching students how to engage with them thoughtfully and constructively. As the drama festivals continue, all eyes will be on the stage, not just to see the performances, but to understand what they represent. Will they reflect a generation finding its voice, or one learning to hold back? Will the stories told resonate with the realities of society, or will they echo within carefully defend limits? In the end, the story of Echoes of Silence is not just about rules and regulations. It is about the place of art in society, the power of young voices, and the choices we make about what is allowed to be heard. Whether this moment leads to greater understanding or deeper division remains to be seen, but its impact will undoubtedly shape the future of drama expression in the country. And this is the Muted Voices. Coming up next, JK's Thursdays. Welcome once again to JK's Thursdays. My name is Jeffrey Kimaiyu Somba, and my sign language interpreter is Laura Omonti. If you need to watch us, please do so through our social media platforms, that is EBN TV Kenya Cross. SMS line is 2305 now. And this is the first story. Now, Vihiga Senator Godfrey Ososi says he was the target of an assassination attempt after being attacked by a group of guns at a local restaurant in Kisumu on Wednesday. Speaking from his hospital bed, Ososi described the incident as a politically instigated attack, accusing senior security officials of orchestrating the assault that left him injured. Opposition leaders led by Kalonzo Musyoka have condemned the incident and called for the resignation of the Interior Principal Secretary Raymond Omolo.
I saw a group of youth, about 20 of them, entered in, and they did not look like they were going to harm me. Because they were shouting, Senator, Senator. Then when they moved closer, a few of them greeted me, and then all of a sudden, they started hitting me.
there is absolutely no reason why those individuals who attacked Ososi would not have been apprehended by now. All right? These are his own goons. Okay? And by the way, all the goons, the ones who are beating the Gen Zs, right? Escorted by police, because there's a man, the police report to him.
It's a time now we want to see action. We want to see them in court. And in fact, this is attempted murder on Ososi. And the goons should not be charged with a lesser offense.
And a follow-up on the same story, the Director of Criminal Investigations, Mohammed Amin, has termed the attack on Vihiga Senator Godfrey Ososi in Kisumu unfortunate and primitive. Amin said it is an active case and has condemned the incident, telling the National Assembly, Administration and International Security Committee that the Regional Police Commander in Nyanza is under instructions to arrest those who were involved in the attack and arraign them in shortest time possible.
It was a very, very unfortunate incident and a very, very primitive thing to be perpetrated against a honorable member. We have condemned that action in our social media. The Inspector General has condemned the thing, that incident, and we have given specific instructions to our regional criminal investigations officer in Nyanza and our regional police commander to make sure that within the shortest time possible, all persons involved in the assault of the honorable member must be identified, brought to book, and be taken to court so as to account for their brutality, for the brutality that they meted against the honorable member of parliament. The matter is still under active investigations. Of course, we were able to visit the scene. We obtained some CCTVs, and the public is cooperating in terms of unmasking the identity of these assailants. And mine is to assure this August House that pretty soon we should be able to arraign these people before court.
Still on the same, members of parliament from Western Kenya have strongly condemned the attack on Vihiga Senator Godfrey Ososi that occurred on Wednesday at a restaurant in Kisumu, carried by a group of thugs. The MPs called on Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja to take immediate and decisive action to apprehend those responsible. They warned that such incidents threaten not only the personal safety of the leaders but also the integrity of democratic governance in the country. The MPs also noted that Senator Ososi had previously been attacked near Kandela Bridge, where his vehicle was damaged. They said these incidents indicate a clear pattern of politically motivated intolerance, reportedly fueled from the highest levels.
You may realize that over the recent past, we have seen organized goons kind of invade public spaces. We have seen goons invade people worshipping in churches. We have seen goons assembling at an entrance of an airport to harass leaders, and now we are seeing goons invading public spaces like restaurants and hotels to attack leaders. I therefore want to condemn this and say that we, as a people of Rwanda, the great Vihiga County where Ososi comes from, are deeply troubled by these events.
This has been a very well orchestrated and designed attack, and it started some times back. It started when we were going to have a rally in Kakamega, where they sent goons that blocked us from using Kisumu Airport after the passenger manifest was leaked by the security agencies to these goons. On the same day, it's very systematic. Honorable Nyonka was attacked and his vehicles damaged at near the Kondele Bridge. So obviously, we see a pattern of intolerance that is exhibited from the very top and is now being pushed to the lower grounds.
So we are calling upon the Inspector General to make sure that security is well improved, that Kenyans are able to be well safeguarded, and that all crime is reported and the culprits are taken to court and justice is given.
I'm saying, Kanja, come out of your office. You are being paid taxpayers' money. Get to the ground. Fold your shirt. Go and get criminals. By the way, the Central Bank of Kenya is next to that place. We have so many civilian police around Central Bank of Kenya. Surely people walking just in hoods. You can't see them and wonder, who are these people walking around in hoods?
If we differ on ideologies, let us reason and work out on ideologies, but not to go physical. This one will not tolerate, and we condemn these acts.
Now from this to that, President William Ruto has announced that a portion of the State House wall will be dismantled as the government strengthens efforts to restore riverland and return Nairobi's rivers to their natural ecological state. Speaking during a special session of the Nairobi County Assembly, the President said that findings from multiple agencies involved in river restoration indicated that the section of a State House wall along Kirichwa-Kuba Road encroaches on a protected riparian reserve. Ruto stated that the decision to remove this section of the wall demonstrates the government's commitment to lead by example in enforcing laws that protect public resources.
Information: State House has received notice from the multi-agency team reclaiming riparian land that part of the State House boundary, the wall along Kirichwa-Kubwa River, falls within the riparian reserve, and it must come down. Yes, it must come down. They have told me at least 15 meters from the high mark, and I promise you that wall will come down. Honorable members, the great cities of the world did not become great by accident. They became great because leaders like the ones seated in this assembly chose discipline over disorder, long-term planning over short-term politics, and public interest over private convenience. A serious city guarantees mobility. It guarantees water, sanitation, safety. And for us who are seated in this auditorium, I'm speaking to you as president and as a friend. If we are not prepared to bear the temporary inconvenience of fixing this city, then we must stop pretending that we are serious about changing it.
So ironical. President William Ruto has condemned illegal land occupiers and criminals sabotaging urban development in Nairobi, promising to confront them directly. At the same time, he pledged that the government will continue improving markets and cleaning the city, including allocating 2 billion Kenyan shillings annually to support Nairobi's waste management. Speaking at the Nairobi County Assembly, Ruto said that illegal occupation of public land is a major obstacle to transforming key economic hubs such as Gikomba Market. He noted that traders have struggled with poor infrastructure, especially during the rainy season, which disrupted business and operations and access for customers. Ruto also announced a robust operation against gangs engaged in illegal or disruptive business practices in the city, warning that the era of protecting private interests at the expense of citizens must end.
Let me say this clearly. The national government is not standing at the sidelines on this waste management story. We are backing this effort in real and practical way, including I have committed to support the waste management in the city of Nairobi with 2 billion Kenya shillings from the national government annually. Say the citizens and residents of this great city of Nairobi are beginning to be part of that change. I was very touched when I saw the leadership of Gikomba Market step forward and say, we want our market to be built. Stop stop the politics. We want our market to be built. You know, the leadership of Gikomba market came to see me. They came and I had a long chat with them. They told me, Mr. President, when it rains in Nairobi, we cannot go and do our business. We have to wear gumboots. Our customers cannot get to our stalls. Our stalls, rain comes through. We cannot do business this way. I am putting public resources to change Gikomba.
You're just joining us now, you're just in the right place, and this is JK as Thursdays on EBN TV, and we're moving on. African leaders and policy makers have been urged to take decisive action to transform cities from slums into engines of economic growth and social inclusion. This call was made during the second Housing and Urban Development Summit, and speaking at the summit in Nairobi, Governor Johnson Sakaja said it is time to address the historical decline in the quality of the city. He added that major urban transformations require strong and careful leadership along with the development plans that ensure equity, economic stability, and better environment for all. The summit was chaired by President William Ruto in Nairobi, highlighting national commitment to sustainable urban development.
Excellency, in one of the many situation rooms that we've had in the run-up to this agenda of affordable housing, you one day asked us the question, how is it that we normalized mediocrity over many years? And you asked this in relation to Nairobi. The name Nairobi means a place of cool waters. And how did the place of cool waters turn into the waters became sewage? And Your Excellency, you asked, how is it that Nairobi hosts 2 UN bodies, and yet we became okay with that level of mediocrity?
A lot of the challenges we're dealing with may not have been caused by ourselves. You know, we may not be the generation that polluted the rivers. We may not be the generation that caused informal settlements. But we agreed that the imperative ahead of us needs a certain kind of leadership. It needs bold leadership. It needs committed leadership. It needs proper planning. And it needs leaders who care. Your Excellency, the delegates today here, and many, may not know what our country has had to go through to achieve what we can proudly talk about.
And away from that story, leaders from Siaya County have strongly defended Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi, rejecting calls for his resignation over corruption allegations in the Ministry of Energy. Members of Siaya County Assembly, together with the leaders from the MDG party, have stood firmly behind him. Among those supporting him is the Speaker of the Siaya County Assembly, George Okode, along with other MCAs. The leaders have urged the public to avoid politicizing the ongoing investigations into the oil scandal, which has already led to the resignation of several senior officials in the energy sector.
As leadership of this county and this arm of government, we are calling upon whoever is castigating against Opiyo Wandayi to give him chance. Opiyo Wandayi, the president, and the other waziri, to give them chance for investigations to continue, because it is believed that people are innocent until proved guilty. There is this outcry. People want to lynch Wandayi and the president on the matter of fuel shortage and the fuel scandal. We are saying, yes, we know there is need for political responsibility, but political responsibility should not be used to settle political scores. Give him time to work and give the investigators chance to do their job.
Opiyo Wandayi should not be subjected to public lynching that I've seen trending. Let the investigation be done very independently. Let the truth come out. As much as we know, Opiyo Wandayi for the several years he's worked in the public office, he's never been involved in any scandal. He's never been known in any corruption. So I'm appealing to the public or to those who are trying to politicize the issue, that let them stay away, wait for proper and thorough investigation is done.
We want to mention it here very strongly that the people who are calling on Waziri Opiyo Wandayi to resign, we want to remind them that this is a minister who has been very honest. For the longest period of time that we've known him, he has earned.
And moving on, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission (NCIC) has urged Parliament to approve amendments to its governing laws to grant the Commission stronger powers to arrest and prosecute individuals involved in hate speech and incitement. NCIC Chief Executive Officer Dr. Daniel Getty stated that under the current system, the Commission can only investigate suspects to compile files and submit them to Director of Public Prosecutions, that is DPP. This process often takes a long time, delaying justice for victims and allowing perpetrators to go unpunished. The proposed legal reforms aim to streamline the handling of hate speech cases, reduce delays, and enhance accountability. NCIC officials argue that this will also act as a deterrent against public incitement and ethnic tensions, which have historically contributed to unrest and violence in certain parts of the country.
Bunge na tumeitisha tupatue ruhusa, sababu Wakenya ndio wamekuwa kitisha hili jambo. Tukiona mtu akona makosa ya hate speech ama makosa ambayo na fall under the mandate of NCIC, tuweze kupeleka huyo mtu mara moja kwa koti sisi wenyewe. Kwa hivyo hii iko kwa mbunge na ninafurahia kwamba mbunge imeweza kusoma hatua ya 3 ile inaitwa third reading ya National Cohesion and Integration Amendment Bill. So that kutoka hapo tutakuwa na mamlaka ya kushika sisi wenyewe na kupeleka kotini sisi wenyewe.
There is some good stories here. Cabinet Secretary for ICT, William Kabogo, said the government has contracted Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT, to assemble computer devices for use in digital hubs to be established across the country. Kabogo noted that the digital hubs, key government initiative, are expected to be set up in all 1,450 wards, each equipped with between 50 and 100 computers. He added that the government is looking beyond simple assembly with plans to have universities assemble computers from components locally. The CS commended the progress made at the Taifa Computer Assembly line, saying the government would support expansion to create more jobs for young people. Kabogo emphasized the need to train more youth to manage and maintain the computers deployed in digital hubs across the country.
We contracted the university to assemble devices, what you otherwise call computers. And these are meant for our digital hubs, the ones that the president has said we should put in one in every ward. So we are looking at 1,450 wards, and each to have an average of 50 to 100 devices. So this university got a tender to assemble 3,000 pieces, and the other ones are 7,000 from Moi University, Eldoret. And we're hoping that besides what I have seen, that we should be able to get the universities to assemble broken down parts, components, solder them here, so that in future we can say this was made in JKUAT. So besides what we are doing here, we want to make sure that the next level is to get parts and assemble them here, so that the entire computer is assembled here. And that's where we want to take this forward. What I've seen is good, and I think we should be able as government to assist them do better and do more. If they have like 5 or 6 lines like this.
And crossing borders to Makueni County, all the workers in Makueni County have threatened to go on strike as they push for their long-standing complaints to be addressed. The Health Workers Union in the county have issued a 14-day notice warning that they will halt services if the county government fails to resolve their prolonged concerns regarding welfare and adequate working conditions. The unions, led by the Kenyan Clinical Officers Union and the National Nurses Union have criticized the county government for failing to provide comprehensive health insurance for employees, allowing political interference in health institutions and delaying recruitment. They also expressed concerns over reports that unqualified individuals are being deployed to fill workforce gaps, warning that a failure to address these issues within the notice period could disrupt health services across the county.
When you take some people to the correct job group and others you take them to one job group higher, or you fail to take them correctly. For instance, people that were in job group H before the career guideline was implemented for clinical officers were actually taken to J, and then conversion of contracts were converted at J. Where is seniority?
Our people have been mismanaged. These people who are being mismanaged are people from Makueni and our country. It is very much unfair for the government to purport that they stopped contracts, punitive contracts, that is county contracts, only to replace them with very punitive hospital contracts.
We don't want to be taken here and there simply because given some excuses, there's no money, there's no this and this. We demand the county government to belay these officers. They have done the work, they are giving services to Mwananchi. Let them given the right job group.
They say this works for the IEBC. And now the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC in Embu County is now using youth influencers to drive voter registration after low turnout, especially among the young people. Embu County Returning Officer Agnes Mutesia said the move aims to make the exercise more appealing and accessible to the youth who form the majority of the population but have shown limited participation. Current data shows most constituencies are below the 30% target, with Mbeere South constituency at 18.47% and Runyenjes constituency at 20.55%, while Manyata constituency leads at 40.50%. Registration remains suspended in Mbeere North constituency due to an ongoing case at the Embu High Court.
Mwezi wa March tulianza usajili wa wapigaji kura na tunasajili katika eneo 3 ya bunge: Manyata, Runyenjes, Runyenjes na Mbeere South. Na kuna idadi ambayo tunatarajia kupata katika kila sehemu. Manyata tunatarajia kupata 12,157. That is the target for Manyata constituency. Na Mbeere South tunatarajia kupata 8,813, na Runyenjes tunatarajia kupata 10,873 katika hizo siku 30 ambazo zilianza 30th of March na zinaisha 28th of April mwaka huu. Na kufikia jana idadi ya wale ambao tumepata tayari katika Manyata constituency tuko na 4,396, that is 4396, na Mbeere South tuko na 1,474, na Runyenjes wale ambao tumesajili ni 2,080, 2,080. Kufikia tukilinganisha ile hesabu tunatarajia na wale ambao tumepata, Manyata we are at 36%, Mbeere South we are at 16%, while Runyenjes we are at 19%.
And on a sad note, 3 people have tragically lost their lives in Soweto, Kibra, Nairobi after a single story wooden house they were demolishing collapsed on them. 2 others were rescued and rushed to hospital with varying degrees of injuries, while several others who sustained minor injuries received treatment at the scene. Isaac Kombo, the disaster management officer at the Nairobi Police Department, confirmed that the incident was caused by uncoordinated and unsafe demolition practices. The collapse occurred around 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Eyewitnesses say or reported that the building fell on those involved in its demolition, and rescue teams feared that others might still be trapped under the debris. It is reported that the demolition was being carried out following eviction notices aimed at clearing the site for affordable housing construction. However, some residents claimed that not everyone had received proper notice and compensation payments of 6,000 only.
Kuna wenye bado wako hapo, kuna wenye wamechukuliwa 3 wamegenya, after kuna mmoja kosi. Na bado kuna wakidi wako hapo hawajapatikana.
Lakini sasa kuna ule mwenye alituomba maji naenda bomoe. Sasa ile nyama ameingia tu hivyo ndani, alikuwa best yangu, ameangukiwa tu hiyo. Sasa ile unasikia nduru, kujeni ameangukiwa, kujeni ameangukiwa. Leo unafika hapo unapata mori yako amelaliwa na hizo nini.
Wasituharakishe, watupe tu time. Jwadu unaharakisha mtu unaona palipa kuenda na hadi anaibiwa vitu za nyumba na kona watoto. Wataenda wapi?
Si kila mtu amepata notice. Na unapata inaharakisha watu, inasema by 23rd watu wanafaa kuwa wameshahama.
Local politics and party dominance have raised concerns in Migori County, with some residents threatening not to participate in next year's general election if political parties impose candidates lists on them. Speaking in Migori town, these residents expressed worry that such impositions would limit their freedom to exercise their democratic rights. Others stated that they would refuse to vote entirely if forced to choose only from pre-selected candidates.
Kama bunge la wananchi, sisi tunakataa hii mambo ya zoning ambao watu wa ODM wanataka. Sababu kuna watu ambao wakuna uzoefu wa kazi, watu ambao wanafanya wanajua eti hawawezi. Sasa wanaingilia kwa chama ili iwasaidie. Sisi tulikuwa tunajitokeza kwa wingi sababu ya Raila Amolo Odinga. Sababu alikuwa anataka presidency. Watu wajaluo walikuwa wanatoka kwa wingi, hata kabila zingine. Na hii mambo ya zoning ikifanyika, nilikuwa na mtu wangu ambao napenda, hata kama ni MP, hata kama ni governor, na ameachwa nje. Sitatoka eti niende nipige kura na huyu mtu ambaye nilikuwa napenda ameachwa nje. Sitatoka.
Tunajua ile kitu ambayo inawasumbua, wameogopa. Wanaogopa nini? Si wawache UDA ingie kati yetu sisi, na hata ODM pia iende pale Central, iende Nyanza, iende Western, iende Ukambani, iende pale Rift Valley, na watu wote wakue, kwa sababu tuko kwa partnership. Hii partnership tunaita broad based arrangement. Wanaogopa nini? Watu ni waoga kwa sababu hakuna kazi ambayo wamefanyia wananchi. Ndio maana wanataka hizo ni. Hata tunawajua wale.
That story brings us to the end of JKS Thursdays. My name is Jeffrey Kimaiyu. Somba sign language interpreter is Laura Omonti. We want to thank you for watching and following us from the start of the episode up to this time. And all from us, we wish you all the best and good night.